Okay, good evening fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. I would like to start tonight by telling you a story about myself. So last Sunday, I was at my grandmother's for my Sunday dinner like normal, and it was a pretty nice day, uneventful, until I went to go leave. Now we all know the weather lately has been really, really cold, and with the cold comes lots of ice. So of course, I was on my way out the door, walking down. I was with my mother. She even hauled the truck out a little bit so I wouldn't fall. But the next thing you know, all my limbs were up into the air and plop, I was right down on the ice. Now, I know I hit the ground, so I scrambled to stand up, knowing that my grandmother always watches me from out the window. And my family was ebullient to be an audience to my clutches. So I got up as fast as I could and opened the door, and my mom said, "Are you going to cry? Can't draw watching." So that was pretty much it, and I got into the truck with not only a bruised ego, but also a bruised body, and it hurt a lot more the next day. So I was thinking about what I should do to avoid future instances of myself falling down on the ice. So I'd like to share with you today 3 tips on how not to fall on ice. Number 1, be prepared. Number 2, use common sense. And number 3, avoid icy situations. So first of all, be prepared. This was the most obvious to me, because when I got into the truck, I heard my cell phone ring. And so it was my Nan. She said, "Are you all right?" "Yes, Nan, I'm okay." I said, "Well, it's what you deserve then for wearing them high heels out the snow." Right? So not much I could do there, and I thought to myself it was pretty stupid of me. It really doesn't matter how fashion forward you are when you're lying on your back and your feet are in the air. So if I had to have the proper footwear, I would have worn something with a thicker sole, something that was non-slip, flatter, or a low heel at least. And of course that wasn't what I was wearing. And when you really think about it, when winter comes, what's the first thing we do? Go out and get winter tires for our car. And I think that I'm a little bit more delicate than my car, so really I should be getting something so I don't fall down, and that should be something that we all think about at the beginning of the winter. And also when it comes to being prepared, you also need to think about, you may have family or yourself, if you're a little bit unbalanced. For instance, my grandmother had a stroke, and she has to take more precautions for falling on the ice than I would. So she has a cane with the ice pick, or she would have to get someone to link into her and help her across the ice. So this brings us to my second tip, to use common sense. Now there are a lot of things that I'm sure we all know, and it should be kind of obvious, but you know, in the run of the day, you don't really think about them all the time. But they're often a cause of why we fall down. So I'm just going to run through a short list now, so we're all reminded for the winter. So to go slow and take small steps. Seems obvious, except when it's -20 out and you're trying to get inside as fast as you can, cause to fall. To keep your balance and have your feet, place them a little bit wider apart, and then you have more balance, so you're a little bit more stable. And also make sure you put your foot down level, so then you're also a little bit more balanced. That's something you really don't think about. This is one that I have trouble with, is keeping your eyes on where you're going. I get distracted easily. I really don't need ice to fall down. I fall down in the middle of the summer. So I need to take extra precautions in the wintertime, again with my klutziness. And another thing would be when you're getting out of your car. How often do I get out of my car and have to hold on to the door with one hand and hold on to the roof with the other hand because there's ice underneath? We all know that there's ice everywhere now. So take a look down and be aware of the fact that, you know, when you're going to pick up your groceries, there may be ice when you get out of your car. And just be careful. And this is my favorite piece of common sense advice for the winter. When you're walking, don't put your hands in your pocket. Seems kind of obvious, but really if your hand's in your pocket, you're kind of restrained, and when your hands are out of your pockets, you have a little bit more balance, first of all, and second of all, if you fall, your hands will hit first before your face. So if you have the excuse that, gee, my hands are cold, go buy yourself a pair of gloves. So that was my second tip. My third tip tonight is to avoid icy situations. Now, I know what you're all thinking, gee, I'd avoid ice, I'd hop on a plane and I'll go to Florida for the winter. No falling on ice then. No, that's not what I mean. Obviously, we all live here in Newfoundland, and we just got to deal with the fact that our winters are cold, they're snowy, they're icy. We have to get over that, and we got to be a little bit more proactive. So when it snows, don't be lazy. Go out and shovel the snow before all the snow gets packed down into a nice sheet of ice in front of your house, on the sidewalk or going to your house, and also use some of that salt and sand. It works wonders. It may make stains on the back of your pants, but that's what washers are for. At least you're safe. And keep obstacles clear of your path too, because I hate going to my friend's house. She has a smaller child, and there's all the slides or sleds and things like that there getting in the way. So not only will this keep yourself safe, but it'll keep your visitors and your family safe when they visit your house as well. So now I know you're all very excited for the great big storm we're going to have tomorrow. Maybe get a little bit of snow days, but I'd like you all to keep from falling down on the ice tomorrow. And whether people are watching or not watching, it's kind of for your own safety, because it could lead to a lot of problems after if you had a bad fall. So I'd like you to remember my 3 tips of tonight. Number 1 is be prepared. Use the proper footwear. Number 2 is to use common sense and be more aware of your body movements. And number 3 is to avoid icy situations. So you go out and shovel tomorrow. Have a safe winter and keep your feet on the ground.